Welcome to the Gathering Greenhouse podcast. Nope, that's not it. No.
The Gathering Greenhouse, a podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Gathering Greenhouse, a podcast to help us grow together.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
Wow.
awesome. I'm Steve. This
Well
is
done.
David.
I am. Well, you got
That's true.
half of
Partly
that
true.
correct.
Partly
It is
true.
Partly true.
I'm David. This is Andrew.
Or just
Also
did
true.
David and David here.
Or David and David. Yeah.
And John.
I'm here
John
too.
is here, and Matt
Hi, everybody.
is behind everything, making sure it works. Hopefully he does.
Don't mess up.
No guarantee.
One
All
take.
right.
We know.
So we've got no potato chips today.
No.
Thank
No.
the
We're
Lord.
done with them.
Done with them.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
All right. But you are going to give us the reason we've been doing potato chips on the podcast is because in our youth
Well, yeah. Vowels aren't
Youth.
cool. So
ministry, you guys have been having your potato chip bracket challenge. What is it called?
May Madness, the championship tournament.
Oh, that's good.
Champion.
I like that.
Chip tournament. That was Kelly.
That's the
That was
first time I've
championship.
heard that.
Yeah, well, it's on the brackets. Champion in like all caps.
Apparently, I don't
Chip
look very closely.
tournament. So yeah, last year.
Did you guys steal that from us? Did Kelly just come up with that?
She just came up with it.
Did you
She-
copyright it?
We should.
You trademark
Should.
it?
The championship. So yeah, I mean, last year we did. What was it? What did we do last year?
Candy.
Candy. That's right.
Right.
And nerds, gummy clusters. It's a little. It's not early. I just
So,
it's been
It was
while.
a real big
the
letdown.
fact that you had a really bad result last year on that, and that made me super skeptical. And now this year, another bad result.
I would agree with the result.
I have a feeling if you did a protein challenge, like tofu would win.
I mean, or just chicken nuggets probably. Although chicken nuggets are good.
Chicken
but-
nuggets.
Speaking of protein, we should talk about Memorial Day.
Yes.
But
Protein.
well, everybody grills out on Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I had
all
that
right.
charcoal
So,
grill out.
yeah. All right. So, but first, tell us about the championship.
So yeah, yesterday was not yesterday. 2 days ago, it was Doritos Cool Ranch versus Takis, and Takis won pretty convincingly. Even though I was on the Cool Ranch side,
Didn't
I
see that
knew
one
it.
coming.
That to me, that's like if University of Michigan played Notre Dame in the national championship.
Yeah,
It's
just like, I hope they both lose.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
So you don't like Cool Ranch? It's you, because I remember even telling him. I said, "Hey, we have Cool Ranch and this," and I said, and we were eating a Cool Ranch. I said, "I think Pastor David says like these taste like vomit."
They do.
I said, but he can't smell, so we can't go off by what he says. anyways. So
Everything
yesterday,
in him tastes like vomit because everything is tasteless.
so yesterday the championship. I mean, they're just two losers for you then.
Oh, terrible. Yeah.
See, I love Cool Ranch Doritos.
That's
Those
a
little
character
green
flaw.
and red speckles on the Doritos.
I know you still have some maturing to do though. So
I mean, before nacho cheese is the clear.
Yes, wait till you're mature and you only like flavorless things. That is the
no,
real mark
I
of
like
maturity.
nacho cheese Doritos. I think they're great. Right. I don't know why y'all are down on Pringles. 'Cause
Nobody,
I think,
no.
I think
Nobody
Pringles
is
are
down on Pringles.
fantastic.
It's just silly to say that plain Pringles are better than flavorful chips. They're
No,
just a
that's
plain
not
chip.
silly. It's true.
No, it's not true.
I see. The thing is, like, sour cream and onion
Here's-
Pringles are my
this is
favorite.
exactly-
Sour cream and onion are
If there's
amazing.
a sour cream and onion Pringle and
There
a
is
plain
a sour
Pringle,
cream and onion
which one are you
You've not
picking?
had the green Pringles?
Yeah. So I actually
I just call them by the color.
there
Green
was
ones.
a day in my life
Ignorance is
when
bliss, I guess.
sour cream and onion chips were my favorite. And I'm wondering now if like somewhere along the way there was a head injury that caused me to not be able to smell anymore that also kind of changed my taste buds. So
Do you
maybe
remember getting hit in the head? And
I had a couple, yeah.
See, here's the thing: if you remember getting hit in the head, you weren't probably hit hard enough to remember or to change an opinion on a food.
Well, back
Any good
back
head-
in the
head
day
injury
we
you
could
shouldn't
handle our
remember,
head
is all
injuries a
I'm
little
saying.
bit better. That's
You shouldn't remember your head
there
injury.
wasn't the concussion protocols.
there was no concussion protocol was like
CTE.
this. Can you get out there and play? Yeah. Well, then why are you over here?
Hey, how many fingers am I holding up?
Yes, coach. I think I can play. Where am I?
Yeah. Right. What are we
That
playing?
way.
What are we playing?
What are we playing?
Just get out there. You can do it.
All right. So Memorial Day
Yes.
this week, and that's always it's one of those interesting holidays. And I heard an interesting perspective on it from a soldier who he said, we want to remember, we want to pay honor and tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. He said, but also we need to celebrate because what they did purchased something. and we ought to celebrate the freedom. And I think that's kind of the neat thing about Memorial Day is it blends those two ideas. That it is a day where we remember and we honor and we pay tribute. You know, you see all the American flags, and people aren't ashamed of the American flags for the 1 out of 2 days in the year, and so we're remembering, but also we're celebrating. And when we get together and we have friends and we grill and all that's just such an American thing. And I think we're kind of paying tribute to what it is, the American ethos. So, what did you guys eat yesterday?
Yeah, so we I broke out the Weber kettle. I do everything on a kettle nowadays. I love charcoal.
That's great.
Better.
I also grill on a Weber, but it's just a gas.
It's a gas.
Yeah.
See, gas is convenient. I think charcoal is flavors. Where the flavors
100% agree.
So we did. I marinated some chicken thighs overnight with some seasonings and different things like that. So I grilled chicken thighs, and then because the kids love hot dogs, but I was at Kroger's and they had I love Queen City.
Hey, guess what? Chicken butt. Guess why?
Chicken thigh. My kids love that joke.
Are you going to cut that out?
Nope.
All right.
Queen City, though. I love Queen City sausages from Cincinnati. And so they had hot dogs, probably about that thick.
Nice.
And they were on sale 16 for $8. So we just did chicken thighs, hot dogs. We had family come in town, so we had pasta salad, potato salad, baked beans, all the good stuff.
Nice.
What did you grill?
We didn't go all out. So we were out west last week, see the kids.
Yeah.
And so we got back Friday night. Marianne worked Saturday and Sunday. I reffed soccer all day Saturday, worked Sunday, reffed one more game Sunday. So we got to Monday and it was like, man, we're not doing anything. We're just chilling. So we had these burgers that we call them the Liam burgers. And they're just frozen burgers from Kroger.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. They have bacon and cheese mixed in. You just throw them on the grill.
And they're frozen.
They're frozen.
I've not seen frozen ones with bacon and cheese.
Yeah, they're amazing. And so it's nice and easy. Yeah. So all we did was we got a bunch of fruit, threw some tater tots in the oven.
Tater tots are superior, I think.
Absolutely. Slap those burgers on the grill. We had a really nice meal.
Listen, we buy that big pack of frozen burgers.
Yep.
And we keep 2 of those in our freezer because in the summertime, I'm like, let's just throw a couple of those on the grill.
Right. It's so fast and easy.
The kids love them and they're good.
Yeah. Normally we'd get Costco stuff, but for a special occasion,
we're going to go with the bacon and cheese.
I think it's like the Kroger Select Collection. They also have prime rib burgers. Same.
I've seen those. So I know what you're talking
really
about.
good. Yeah.
It's like in the actual aisle, the frozen section, right? It's not in the...
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff.
All right, John.
Like you, I didn't really do much yesterday. We're getting ready to leave on vacation. So had to take yesterday to kind of get the house ready to leave and all that. But I guess we made ramen.
Very American.
Yep, I did make hot dogs yesterday, actually. So, that's probably. I made hot dogs and baked beans.
So when you say ramen, did you go just the college version?
Oh yeah, totally. I didn't eat the ramen. I made it for my wife and kid, but yeah.
And then you had
hot dogs and baked beans.
What flavor was the ramen?
Soy, which they changed the name recently.
It was named something else, or it was soy now it's something else?
It was something else, now it's soy.
What color is the packet?
Blue.
Okay.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay. I've never seen that one.
It's not soy. It's more. It doesn't taste like soy sauce.
Yeah.
But I think they had to change the name because everyone got sensitive about a certain word.
All right, so I'm clueless, but okay, all right, yeah, interesting. So we don't have ramen in the house anymore. Liam was a big ramen guy.
I bet that correlated with your kids moving out.
Absolutely, it did. Yeah.
To me, chicken and beef are the only two right.
So
what about shrimp?
I love the shrimp.
I can't do the shrimp.
I like the shrimp.
So I can't do it. I like the teriyaki. There's one I know, the regular brand doesn't, but there used to be this one. It was like a black box.
Yeah.
And there was a teriyaki sauce. It was $1. And I remember I used to eat those.
Maruchan is like the little packet that's like you get a whole 24 for $12 or something stupid like that.
I'm getting some on the way home.
You're getting some ramen now?
I'm inspired.
So
get some ramen. Inspired.
The thing about ramen is it's okay for a great snack if you just want to make it as is. But what we do we actually found this like fancy ramen. It's a little bigger noodle. It's better, and so we'll make that. I'll make a sauce that goes with it. We'll do eggs with it and stuff like that, and it's like that's really good. But it takes a little more work.
So I used to make a thing for the kids. It was just called hamburger and rice. That was like one of the staples when they were growing up, and basically it was
hamburger and rice.
So I just, ground beef, and it was always venison because that's all we ate in our house. So, I just brown it in a pan. And then I would, make rice, and I'd dump the rice into the pan, and then I'd cook some ramen and mix that in with it.
Okay.
And then put a couple eggs in there, mix it all together. And those are one of our kids' favorites because it all kind of sticks together then.
My wife loves ramen. She keeps it in our pantry. I can hardly eat. I've just never been a huge fan of it, except for like if it's like elevated with like protein, like chicken and stuff in it. But just like the noodles and broth, I just can't do it.
So after college, I kind of got so sick of it, and I can eat it now if I make we call it the fancy ramen. If I make the fancy ramen, I can eat it. It feels like a meal.
Right.
I don't enjoy just the noodles on their own. The one thing, and Becca taught me this trick. So she likes the creamy chicken. So it's actually a little bit creamier, the sauce. It's not as brothy.
I've seen this, yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing we do is, you're supposed to put the packet in with the water while it's boiling the noodles. Is we just cook the noodles, then we add the packet later, and then I add a little bit of water on top of that. It's a little bit, it feels saucier, versus broth and noodles.
All right.
Okay.
And that definitely makes it taste better.
A little more heartier sounding.
Yeah. We had legit ramen last week. Liam took us to one of the places he goes, like near his workplace.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird thing to meet your son for lunch while he's working. And he shows up, he's got his work polo on, his little name tag clipped here. He's like
on lunch break.
He's like, he's
hit the ramen
he's like
joint.
a professional.
I know this little ramen place right over here.
And he was like, he's doing some kind of installation thing, and it wasn't going well. And he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to meet you guys for lunch or not. And he calls us like, we're going to be able to meet, but I've only got a half an hour, so I'm going to meet you at this place. And it's kind of weird, when your son is dictating the terms of the schedule because of his work. It's like, all right, that's a little flip flop.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of sons and daughters, it's summer.
It is summer.
Right? So most schools are out. A couple schools still finishing up.
I thought you were going to, speaking of suns, the sun is out a lot right now, and it's summer.
Speaking of suns, it's gotten warm.
It's really warm out.
Is Phoenix still playing in the NBA? Or are they done?
I don't
I think they're still in the NBA. But I don't
Speaking of the Suns.
kicked out.
They got
No one
kicked
wants
out.
to
I don't
play
even
there.
know. Are they in the finals yet for the NBA? No. Where are they at?
They're at the conference finals.
All right, and who's playing? I don't even know.
It is Minnesota and Dallas.
In the conference finals.
Yeah. And then I forget the
So
East.
Denver's out?
Yeah.
Golden State's out?
Yeah.
I thought those were the good teams.
Nope.
Lakers are out?
Yeah.
All right.
And then East, I don't know because I don't care because they're.
Well, I think East is Celtics Pacers. Is that right? I know the Pacers are in,
Yeah.
Celtics they won last night.
so it's over.
Celtics won last night.
So they swept 4-0.
I saw that because someone posted.
So we're going to have Celtics against either Minnesota. Minnesota?
Yeah.
Who plays for Minnesota?
Carl,
Those tall
Anthony
guys?
Towns.
I don't know any of these people.
Edwards, who
Wait, isn't he Goose?
on a tear.
Isn't Anthony Edwards is Goose from Top Gun, isn't he?
I don't know.
I mean, he's. I
If
always thought
anyone
he
in
was,
here knows about Top Gun, I would
Wait,
think it'd
like
be
his
you.
actual name? Because it's Val Kilmer.
Or are you asking about
No,
No,
Val
Val
Kilmer is
Kilmer's
Iceman.
Iceman,
yeah,
right.
yeah. No,
No, you're
Goose
right,
is the
right.
one who dies.
Yeah, Goose dies.
as all geese
And then
should.
his son is in the next one, and his call name is like what, Duck or something.
Yes.
It's not really Duck. I
Should have called him Quack.
That's right.
So Dallas currently has a 3-0 lead.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It shows how much we know about NBA and how much we follow it. Hey, are the Globetrotters still? Are they
Are they-
still in? Are they making a run for it?
Well, here's your NBA stat, right? So the NBA plays 82 games in a season.
Yeah.
Right? The NFL plays 17. And in this past season, the Detroit Lions won as many games as the Detroit Pistons. That's how bad the Pistons are.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, just brutal.
Man, what a great year for the Lions, though.
I know. I saw a chart the other day that showed all the professional sports teams and like best to worst over the last 10 years, and the Detroit teams like the Tigers and the Pistons. No, I'm sorry. The Red Wings and the Pistons, worst in their league over the last 10 years. The Tigers, second worst in the league over the last 10 years. And the Lions, the best team in Detroit over the last 10. How bad is that?
Although the Red Wings, I mean, they came close.
They got close. They got close. Next year. All right. Anyways, it's summer.
Summer.
Kids are out of school. And so we're going to take some time today and talk about what are some things that parents can do to disciple their kids during the summer.
Yeah.
And to disciple means, help your kids grow to look more like Jesus. And that is the role of the parents first and foremost, right?
Yes.
Not the role of the church. We help.
Right.
Not the role of the schools. Most of them don't help.
Opposite.
Right? It is the responsibility of the parents. Now, we would say, parents, get your kids in church because it's a really helpful resource for you. But at the end of the day, parents, you're the ones who will answer to God for how you discipled your kids. So, we're going to put together or try to put together a top 10 list.
Okay.
John, you're not ready for this, are you?
Nope.
All right.
Just start thinking
A
in your
top
head.
10 list of things to do with your kids this summer.
How to disciple your kids this summer.
Yeah.
Hold on, pause. The focus is going haywire.
It's here, and Matt
Hi, everybody.
is behind everything, making sure it works. Hopefully he does.
Don't mess up.
No guarantee.
One
All right.
take.
We know.
So we've got
This guy.
it's the devil. He doesn't want us to do this.
That's right. He's like, discipleship. The summer, we want our kids' brains to rot this summer.
Yeah.
Play video games.
Definitely
More
let them be
video
on
games.
TikTok as much as they want
More
this year.
time on the phone.
Grand Theft Auto.
Okay, we're good now.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna go one at a time, and you can play if you want. I should have given you a heads up on
so
this.
this is like a little more than 3 apiece. So this should be
Yeah.
easy.
So originally the plan was I was going to have Rebecca and Andrew in here with me. And get all of their expertise, but Rebecca couldn't shoot today. Her mom's having
You should
surgery.
have been like, never mind.
Yeah. So, anyways, all right. So here we go. You get to go
All right.
first. Give us one thing you can do.
All right, very first thing I have on the list here is you as parent caregiver need to do your daily devotions yourself. I mean, and especially
I see what you're doing there.
Well, especially and let your kids see it. So that way they see hey, mom and dad take this serious, that they're reading their Bible, they're praying, they're journaling themselves. And plus, you need to do it yourself. So that way, you are staying close to God. If you're not staying close to God in the right relationship, it's hard to impart anything to your children. So that's
Nice.
my number one, that you need to make sure that you're disciplined.
Set the example.
That's right.
Good one. All right, John.
Yeah. So I think incentives are really good. And so it's a great way to motivate. I have a 4-year-old, super motivated by popsicles. So it's easy to be like, today we're going to do our verse. If you're a good boy all day today, and if you do, we're working on memory verses, you do that, you're going to get your popsicle. I think that kind of stuff is really easy to do. Your kids.
Yeah.
What gets them motivated.
That's a good one. That's one of mine. Was memorize scripture, and it even says goals and rewards. So nice one. So just speaking of that, obviously as the kids get older, the rewards have to change a little bit. And so maybe it gets to this thing of, hey, if you memorize a verse a week or 3 verses a week or whatever for the first 6 weeks of summer, then in the 7th week of summer, we're going to go do something really amazing. Like we're going to go to Hocking Hills, or we're going to go to Kings Island, or
Bribes work, man.
yeah,
Or you
absolutely.
just get a 10-cent popsicle.
Or you just get a 10-cent popsicle. All right. So my first one is, I'm going to say binge the right things.
Yes.
So we have this thing called Right Now Media.
Yeah.
That is available to anybody who's part of our church. And if you don't have access to it, send us an email or throw a comment in the comment section here, and we'll get you the link. You can sign up for it. Essentially, Right Now Media is like Netflix for discipleship.
Yes.
And
they even
there's-
got kids shows.
That's
on
it.
it.
Well, that's what I'm going to go
And it's
with.
like real
this.
shows.
Yeah.
It's not just like kid Bible
not only
studies.
is it like all of our small groups use this as their curriculum, and you can look at all that stuff, but they have actually real kid stuff. They got like old school stuff.
Bible Man.
They
Bible,
I
I was gonna
wrote
say.
down Bible Man. They've got Superbook.
Yep.
They got the Bible Project. These are all awesome. So
Yeah.
let your kids binge something like on a rainy day, but binge something good.
Yeah.
There's also tons
Not
of
blue.
free Christian
Blue's
content for
amazing.
kids on YouTube and stuff like
Right.
that. So
Yeah.
just be a little careful because there's often stuff on the internet that says it's Christian that isn't.
Yeah. And the other thing about
Fully.
YouTube is you can't leave the room.
You can't leave the room
because you never
Right.
know what's going to come up next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or
that's
what they can click on.
yeah. Right Now Media, though, awesome resource for those rainy days or those like really sticky days where you don't want to go outside. All right. That's 3. What's 4?
All right. Am I going to go through my whole list here? All 10?
No, we're-
so I'm going to pick some good ones here.
Yeah. Pick your best.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to do get them learning and working on something during the summer.
All right.
Like give them like a project to do. Like, so I read this book. It was called Play the Man. It's about like raising boys. And while you do that, you're discipling them. There's this whole idea, like during the summer, like talk to your son and daughter, say, hey, we're gonna go through this book of the Bible, but we're also gonna like do this, work on this project or do something. And while we're doing this together, this project or whatever we want to do, we're also gonna be talking about this book of the Bible or this like
Cool.
this thing. So instead of just, sitting home and find, hey, what do you want to learn this year? Like or this summer, you want to ride a bike? And as we ride a bike, we're also gonna,
Yeah.
talk about what we've been reading.
Awesome.
in the morning like that.
Yeah, I love it.
Plan to learn something new or,
Yes.
a project.
Yeah.
together.
Man, your kids need to be working with their hands more
Yeah.
than just their thumbs.
Yes.
Yep.
Very much so.
All right, John.
Be diligent about who and intentional about who you're having invest in your kids this summer. So a lot of parents, you guys are working and school's out, so you're going to have other grandparents or friends watching your kids. And when you're picking those people, ask those questions. Is the investment this person's making in my child, is it going to push them to be more godly? Is it going to push them to grow in the relationship with God? Or it could potentially this person kind of pushing them away. And so, the time that we let people spend with our kids does inform our children. And so I think it's important to kind of be mindful of who we're letting have access to our kids that way.
Yes.
Good. I'm gonna jump on board with that one. So this is a corollary of that. It won't stand on its own. But if you got younger kids, go ahead and be a VBS nomad.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's just every week there are churches all over Dayton that are doing VBS, and like you just figure out the schedule. Take your kids to different VBS. If you need free childcare, send them to a church where they're going to do something
Free
like that.
date night.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, that's a really good one. Here's mine: destination-based Bible teaching. So like go to a river, like hike along a river.
Stealing one of mine here.
And talk about like the story of Joshua and the children of Israel crossing the Jordan River.
Yeah.
Or talk about Jesus' baptism in the river, or Naaman being cleansed from his leprosy. I mean, there's so many river stories.
Yeah.
Climb a hill. I don't think we have any mountains around here, but climb a big hill. Talk about Abraham and Isaac, and the sacrifice. Talk about Elijah and the prophets of Baal. And you could probably run down this list. There's a lot of destination type things that you could do.
Absolutely.
And then there's talk about a Bible story that goes along with that.
Well, because the kids are such visual learners.
Right.
Like when you teach with something visual, like it makes it so much more impactful. So that's actually one thing I have here, to get out and do something and teach in a place.
Right.
But so one thing I put on here is in the summertime, we do this, I mean, like all year, but mealtime together around the table as a family, eating together. There's something about coming together, slowing down, stopping, and talking at the table together.
Yeah.
Praying before you eat, saying, what we do this thing of, hey, what was the best thing of today and what was the worst thing today? And everyone has to go around the table and say what the best thing of the day was and what the worst thing of the day was, and just talk. I mean, it's so important. And I know because sometimes it's so easy to get busy with summer schedules. That's like, let's just eat out, or, let's just eat as we watch a movie or whatever it is. But there's something about coming around the table, sitting together, and having mealtime together.
Yeah. I mean, routines are just an important part of life, and don't let your kid go into summer without any routines, but make sure that that's one of the routines.
Yes.
Love it. Good. All right.
Speaking of routines, keep doing what you're doing. So if what you're doing during the school year is working, try your best to keep up those habits and keep up those routines, because it will just continue to ingrain those things in your kids, so that when you go back into school at the end of summer, those habits are already there, they're already formed, and that will make this next school year even better.
That's good. Yeah. So if it's working, keep doing it.
Yep.
Don't take the summer off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it. Yep. This is one I call fellowship around the fire. And, maybe it doesn't have to be a fire, but like have bonfires at night and invite people over. This goes a little bit with what you said about being intentional about who's influencing your kids, but like invite other families over.
Yeah.
And, maybe sit around the fire, let the kids hang out, and the adults just kind of talk Bible stuff or theology stuff or discipleship stuff, and let your kids listen.
Yeah.
Let your kids see what it looks like to engage in healthy fellowship.
I like that.
It doesn't have to be a fire, but if fires are awesome.
Sounds almost like a Lord of the Rings movie, Fellowship of the Fire. Fire Fellowship.
There you go.
All right, so one here I have, I skipped this one, but in the morning, one thing we do when we're eating breakfast, this is a good thing, is we go around and say, what's one thing you need help from God with today?
Ooh.
Each kid. And then another kid has to pray for that. So
Nice.
So Judah's like, I need help being brave at school. Who wants to pray for Judah to be brave at school? So pray for each other. We got young kids, so it's that simple for us. It may look different for you, but I think it's very important that we talk about, hey, what do we need prayer for? Because as a family, we should be praying for each other and lifting each other up.
Awesome. I love that one.
Yeah.
Good. You got one more?
So you might have to clean this one up for me because I'm kind of flying off the cuff here. But this is all based on the context, and your kids, their age and all that stuff goes into this. But intentionally expose them to things that are contradictory to what we want them to be, so that we can have controlled and safe and honest conversations about the realities of the world we live in. And so, obviously I have a 4-year-old, so I'm not explaining everything that's bad in the world to him and all the complexities. There's stuff he's just not ready for. But if you have a kid in high school, there's things that they're dealing with that we need to talk about. And so don't just, keep all that away from them and keep it secret and hidden. Find ways to introduce those things so you can actually talk about it and discuss it and answer that question. Well, what does God say about this thing?
Yeah. So maybe what you're saying is, don't shy away from difficult conversations, right? And even create them.
Proactively,
Like pull up a video, like a TikTok video, and say, hey, I saw this video the other day. I want to ask you about this.
And I don't think you have to try very hard. Your kids are going to see these things.
Yeah.
If there's a viral video that you see and you're like, man, this is just promoting such a worldly value. Hey, kid, did you see this video? They'll say yes. And then you say, what do you think about that? And then just have that conversation about, well, what do you think God thinks about that?
Right.
And, just look for those opportunities to use the negative things of this world to have a positive conversation and to promote what God says.
Yeah, I think we are so often, like even in public or on TV, like those things, and all of a sudden makes us uncomfortable because our kids or something is sitting there. It's like, rather than, it is uncomfortable. Well, why is that uncomfortable? Why are we not paying attention? Let's talk about that. Why are they acting differently?
Yeah, I think that there's 2 questions as a parent you can always use when whether you're looking at viral videos or watching a show or whatever. The first question is, what are they trying to sell to us?
Yeah.
Right? Because everything is always trying to sell something. And they're trying to sell something to us. And it might be they're trying to sell us pleasure, or they're trying to sell us possessions, or they're trying to sell us popularity. Right?
Yeah.
3 P's there. Right. And then the second
that was
question.
Impressive.
Yeah. The first question is, what are they trying to sell us? The second question is, why is that a lie? And this is a really important one to lean into and just talk through. Like, do you think that these people are real? Right? Do you think that what they're saying leads to what we'll get actually will? Or is it possible that maybe 1 out of 1,000 it works that way for? What happens to the other 999? Like kids see these influencers on social media and everybody's like, oh, anybody can be an influencer, right? And they say things like, if you just work hard enough, if you just believe enough, no, that's actually not how it works. They got lucky.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, they worked hard. I'm not taking any of that away from them, but you have to be in the right place at the right time. You have to know the right people, yada, yada, yada. And even that, those people aren't happy.
Right.
Right? I mean, they're just not. So lean into that question of what is the lie here? What are they selling us? Why is that a lie? And expose it, and then talk about what the truth is, because the truth is, what God offers us is not necessarily riches or excitement, but what He does offer us is contentment and peace and joy, and the ability to get through the difficult things of life. Pain doesn't go away just because you have more or have a lot or are popular. You still have to deal with the pain.
Right.
And God actually helps us deal with that. So that's another place to go.
That's good.
Awesome. All right. One more thing to do: service projects. And actually, I think this kind of goes along with what we just talked about, because when you go out and serve others, you also see the negative impact of bad decisions, right? And there is absolutely a place to say, hey, we're going to go down to a soup kitchen and we're going to serve together as a family. And on the way home, we're going to talk about, how some of those people ended up there.
Yeah.
And, why getting away from God's plan and God's ideal can often lead you down a really horrible road. There's actually a Bible story about that. It's the prodigal son, right?
Yeah.
Prodigal son ends up in a pig pen where he's, eating the pig's food. He's kind of like his own personal soup kitchen, right? So I think that's a good opportunity. Serve others, show them Christ's love, but also that's a chance to say, hey, how did that happen? And how can we avoid that?
No, I definitely think it's important.
Yeah.
Get them serving at an early age, getting them out and seeing things, and also just understanding how blessed they are too. I mean,
Right.
It helps them understand the things that God's given them. Because, like you said, most of the time they just see the viral videos, influencers, and usually it's just a snippet. I always tell teens, you're just seeing 2 seconds of their life, and you don't see the rest of it.
And it's the 2 that they want you to see.
They want you to see.
And it was probably 10 takes before they got exactly what they wanted.
But we I don't know if people still say this anymore, but it's a piece of wisdom. If it seems too good to be true,
It probably is.
probably isn't, right? And so I always think about that with social media. If it seems like that their life is too perfect, it definitely isn't real.
Yeah.
It is so easy today to manipulate
Yeah.
the perception that
Right.
people have about you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
We doing?
You got it-
I
you
got
got
another
any more?
one.
You
I
got
got
another
another
one?
You
All
took
right.
another one of mine because
All
I
right,
had find a place to serve because I think it's important. So I'm gonna do this one. It's trying, and it kind of goes off what John said last time a little bit, but it's this whole idea of trying to make your home a safe place to share. And what I mean by that is even the struggles that you're having, problems like those kids are going through. Because I heard one time I was in a parenting class a long time ago, and the phrase stuck out to me. It was, "Are you raising sin confessors or sin concealers?"
Ooh.
So it's if your kid comes to you and says, "I messed up," and you fly off the handle, you may be pushing them to being a sin concealer. Rather, so not saying that there's not going to be discipline there. So what can you do this summer while they're home to help cultivate this home of it's a safe place. You can always come to mom and dad with your problems and issues. We're here for you. And make sure that the punishment matches whatever happens. Obviously, discipline needs to happen, but so many times teens don't talk because they're just so worried about what the discipline is. Where it's sit down and say, hey, if you ever do something wrong, know you can come to mom and dad and I, and know that we can help you through whatever it is. So
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna give some parenting advice real quick.
Okay.
Because I was actually just thinking about this morning. That how we parent often, especially when it comes to when our kids mess up, how we parent teaches them about God's grace. Right. So there are some parents on one end of the spectrum that when their kids mess up, they just tear into them. Right. And basically what they're teaching their kids is you can never please me. You are always going to fall short. I am always going to criticize you. You're never going to live up to my standards. And on the other end, you have the parents who excuse everything.
yeah.
Well, my little Johnny wouldn't do that, right? And it's always somebody else's fault. They go to teacher parent conferences and the teacher's an idiot, all that, right? Their kid never does anything wrong. And the problem is then what those parents are teaching their kids is either just like you can't ever please me, you can't ever please God.
Yeah.
And they're raising a legalist. And that kid might grow up to be like a legalist who's always trying to please God through his own actions. And on the other end, you have parents who are basically teaching their kids anything goes, you're always okay. And this is the too far grace God of, well, everything's okay. God loves you just the way you are. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to repent. Everything goes. And neither of those really represents grace, because the whole point of grace is I'm a sinner. I can't do it on my own, but God takes care of it for me. It's not okay what I did. I need to repent and confess, but he's taking care of it for me.
Right.
So as parents, that's where we need to get, is this place of, hey, what you did was wrong. I'm glad you've repented. Let's restore this relationship. I'm going to do the work to restore it. Then our kids begin to understand what grace is. I think that's such an important thing.
Yeah, and we tell our kids all the time, if you come to us with something you did wrong, it's going to be a lot better than trying to hide something and keep getting worse and worse, because it's just going to take more to fix it. And that's where the problem is, when you're trying to hide and run. That's where the issue is.
That's where we're getting into now. It's trying to help my son understand the discipline for lying is greater than the discipline for just confessing
What you did.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it literally the other day, it was like I caught my son trying to lie to me, and I had to discipline him for that. He had to go apologize because he was, he said, Mommy said something that she didn't say, right? And so I made him go apologize and all that stuff. But afterwards, sitting there trying, it's really hard to explain this, but like, I was like, you weren't going to get in trouble for trying to get a second snack or a second treat, right?
Yeah.
You got in trouble because you told a lie. Mm-hmm. And I don't want you to be a liar. I don't want you to hide things. I want you to be honest. If you wanted a second snack, there was a good chance if you just asked, I probably would have, could have said yes, 50-50.
Yeah.
And it just, the way, I think the big thing is explaining why you are punishing, why you are disciplining the way you are, and be specific. And I looking at my kid's face, I know it didn't click.
Yeah.
He's 4.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping maybe by the time he's 5 or 6 or 7, like that starts clicking that, it's, the lie is the worst thing. And the reason I want the lie to be the worst thing is because when they're in high school, I want them not to be afraid to, or to be motivated to tell the truth.
Right.
When I think there's that thing too, like with lying, especially at a young age, that's just your natural inclination. Immediately, first thing that pops in your head is no, I didn't.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like, well, just stop for a second and think about it, because like that's just our natural thing. It's just like, no, because I don't want to suffer, or I'm embarrassed, or I feel shame or whatever. So I don't want to have to deal with this.
Right.
So just no, I did not do that.
Yeah. All discipline should not be the same. So the severity of the discipline ought to reflect what you as a parent are trying to develop in your child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So sometimes what you're trying to do is say, I don't want this action to happen again. Like I took a cookie when I wasn't supposed to. I don't want this action to happen again. And so the severity of the discipline ought to reflect that. But sometimes you're dealing with a long-term character trait.
Yeah.
I do not want my child to develop this character trait of lying, because while it's not such a big deal when they're 5, it's a huge deal when they're 25.
Yeah.
And so the severity of discipline for lying, because that's a character issue, is going to be much higher than the severity of discipline for, this or that.
And what you're showing your kids is what you value. Mm-hmm. Because your kids will end up valuing the things you value.
Yeah.
Even the things you passively value,
Right.
they will inherit, which just, I got a bonus because I think we hit our 10 things you can do. Value being at church on Sundays this summer. If you want your kids to value being committed and actively attending Sunday morning gatherings at their church when they're an adult, you now need to show them that it's important to you too.
Right.
In the summer, it is so easy and tempting to be, it's a nice warm day. I want to get a jump start to get down to the lake. We're going to leave early. We're going to miss church. There's all these fun things to do during the summer, travel and all that stuff. And I'm not saying be a slave to being here, but what I am saying is your kids notice that if every time it's nice out, you say we're doing something fun instead of going to church, what you're teaching them is that fun is a higher value than church.
Yep.
And they're going to pick up on that. And then, over time, eventually, we ask, why are these kids not valuing being at church? It's because we didn't value it and we didn't teach them that.
Yeah.
And summer's a real easy
And the most
way to do
fun
that.
thing you can do is be at church. So
Yeah. We're not slowing down for the summer. Our kids area is going to be just as awesome all summer. Our youth department is going to be just as awesome all summer. Most of the time, our sermons are going to be okay. This week, the sermon's going to be awesome, right?
yes,
It's going to be
amazing.
Amazing sermon
might
this week.
be one of the greatest sermons ever preached.
I think it probably will be. So,
Actually, don't get your hopes up.
I always tell people, keep your expectations low. That's the key to contentment.
If it's good, it's because God's hand was all over that.
All right. So you got a whole bunch of ideas for how to disciple your kids this summer. If you don't remember them all, go back, watch the podcast again, and then you can write them down. And then you'll have pick 2 or 3 and just say, hey, this is what I want to do this summer.
Yeah.
If you don't have kids, maybe you got grandkids, send a link to your kids so they can remember this.
Yes.
Pass it on. I'll come back to Right Now Media. We mentioned that at the beginning. If you don't have it, let us know. We'll make sure you get hooked up with that. I think it's a great resource.
Yep.
All right. I think we're done.
I think we're good.
Hey, thanks for being with us.
Yep.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye now.